Hi there, hello there, friends. It's your old pal, Michael. You're watching Travel with Michael. I'm a member of the Travelmation family, and I'm excited today. I have got a special guest that you're going to love. I have with me Abby Cauff Brown from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Welcome.
Hi there. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is so exciting to get to talk to you. I am such a big fan of your brand and what you guys have coming out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for including me, and thank you for including Royal. We're very excited to be here.
Absolutely. So, you've been working for Royal for a long time, correct? Tell me a
Correct.
little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the hospitality business. I'm not going to tell you how long because I don't want to age myself here, but let's just say a long, long time. But I've been working here at Royal Caribbean. Next month is going to be 15 years that I've been at
Wow.
Royal. So yes, I'm very, very proud to work at this company. I believe in the culture of the corporate culture of the company, what they do with our hardware, our ships, our brand, just the integrity. I can't say enough about the company.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we'll get into some of the, some about what I really enjoy about the company. But if you could tell me, let's talk about Royal Caribbean and what makes them so much better than everybody else.
Mhm. Well, I definitely am partial for sure. There's no question about that. But you know what I think that's so interesting about Royal Caribbean is they are never trying to outdo somebody else. They are trying to outdo themselves. And they're always trying to come up with new, innovative ways to make our ships amazing, go to destinations that we've never been to, create private island experiences or like nothing you've ever seen before. But I think the main thing at the core of who we are is the corporate culture, like I just mentioned, and our staff and crew. It really just is set apart, and their whole desire is just to give you a wow experience on board the ships.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I believe they do. There's things that are on your guys' ships that blow away everybody else's. In fact,
Yeah.
you just released out this week the newest, biggest ship out there, Icon of the Seas. And I have a
Yeah.
bunch of friends that are going on it, I think in like 5 days or 6 days.
Yeah.
They're
On
super
Saturday. Yeah.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are super excited about this, but it's not the only one because you have now, correct me if I'm, it's the Wonder, the Icon, and then coming out next year will be the Star. Is that what it is?
Nope,
Nope.
nope. It's so Wonder came out last November.
Okay.
Icon is coming out. Its first sailing is going to be January 27th, but we have some pre-inaugural trade events that are taking place beforehand. But the first sailing is 7 nights on January, excuse me, 27th, and this Icon is sailing doing 7 night Eastern Western out of Port Canaveral.
Mm-hmm.
Then come July, we have the Utopia, which is
Utopia.
a
Yeah.
new Oasis class ship that is going to also be sailing out of Port Canaveral, doing 3 and 4 night sailings. So this is the first time in the history of our brand, in the history of any brand, come to tell you, not just Royal Caribbean, no cruise line out there has ever had a short Caribbean product with a brand new ship. So this
Yeah.
is a very exciting thing for us to be able to have the 3 or 4 night sailing on an Oasis class ship. We're calling it the world's greatest weekend. And but there are 4 nights too, Monday through Friday, that you can enjoy as well. But that will start sailing in July out of Port Canaveral.
And now
And then
these are big ships, right?
oh, massive. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Oasis is about 2,700 staterooms and about 5,400 guest capacity, triple or quad. And Icon, I believe it's 28 or 2,900. Um, and about 85% of the ship is triple and quad. Now, we're never going to max it out like that, but the capabilities are there.
Right.
So it will hold up quite a few more people. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm out here on the West Coast, and I know you guys have ships that are out that run the Caribbean, and you have ships that run the West Coast. You guys have one that comes out of Los Angeles here, the Navigator of the Seas. And
Correct.
that is an awesome ship. If you've never been on, you want to experience Royal Caribbean, that's a fantastic ship to be on. It's got all kinds of stuff on it. It's got, if I remember correctly, It's got the water slide, the two different versions of the water slides they have.
Correct?
The wave machine, the wave pool machine,
Flow
um,
ride.
the flow rider. Yeah, it's got Johnny Rockets on board. I think there's the Italian
Rock
restaurant that's on there.
Yep, rock climbing, ice
Yeah.
skating, miniature golf. It goes on and on and on with wonderful activities. So that Navigator of the Seas, Micah, is a Freedom class ship or
Hmm.
Voyager class ship, excuse
Voyager.
me.
Yep. Hmm.
So a lot of our Voyager class ships, after we came out with the Oasis of the Seas, when we first came out with the first Oasis class ship, which Utopia will be the sixth Oasis class ship that there
Wow.
is, we went through this amplification program where we spent 900 we spent $1 billion, $200 million on each ship, amplifying them to make sure they had all the bells and whistles, from water slides to great dining venues and activities and all kinds of great things. So this ship has gone through that amplification, and it is a fabulous ship, and it is sailing out of Los Angeles. And it's got a mix of itineraries that it does.
Yeah, and yeah, for us West Coasters, it's great because it's just right down the street here. But you could do
Absolutely.
Mexican Riviera. I think at one point, does it go to Alaska? Um,
I don't think Navigator goes to Alaska.
it stays
Navigator,
south.
yes, it goes south, but it does some coastal kind of itineraries. But we do have two ships that leave out of Seattle, which is also on the West Coast, which are the Quantum class ships. And they do round trip Seattle and they go to Alaska.
Okay.
We also have one ship. We'll have four ships in Alaska over the summer. So two that will leave round trip Seattle, one that will leave round trip Vancouver, and then one is going to do what we call an open jaw, where it goes from Seward to Vancouver and then Vancouver down up back up to Seward. So those are those two options that you have.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, these are just some incredible, incredible ships, and all of them have a good mix for multi generations that the grandparents, the parents, and the kids would really enjoy and have a great time.
Absolutely.
You guys are big as I'm talking about multi generational. You guys are really big on family. Can you explain and tell my audience some things that you guys have for the kids? Maybe in different stages, like younger kids and then older kids, some things that they can do on your ships.
Sure, sure, absolutely. So I would say that, well, first of all, let me tell you our Adventure Ocean program, right? So that is the name of our Kids Club program. And all of our counselors in the Adventure Ocean program have a 4-year college degree in either child development or education. So these aren't just people that we assign, crew members that we just assign to be somewhere on the ship. They actually are trained and have sought out wanting to do with children and know how to handle all of, you have all the certifications, CPR ready, all of that kind of stuff, to be able to be in the Adventure Ocean program. So it is a fabulous program. Every single ship at Royal Caribbean has an Adventure Ocean program, and there's broken out by age groups. So depending upon what age your kids are, depends upon the activities that they may or may not be able to partake in. We do not allow children younger than 6 months. So you must be legally 6 months. It's an insurance licensing issue before you can come on a cruise ship. But once you are 6 months, we have a whole program called Royal Babies and Tots, which is for the babies and the tots, that goes up to 36 months. And then we break things out by age group, and it goes all the way up to 17. So depending upon, are they the older kids or the younger kids, there's all different types of things. The older kids, maybe they're doing basketball or they're doing ping pong. They've got their own hangout rooms that are just for them. They've got video games and all kinds of stuff going on in there for them. If you are on a Quantum class ship, maybe there's bumper cars and there's trapeze and escape rooms and all kinds of things. On an Oasis class ship, on all of our ships, there's rock climbing, there's zip lining on Oasis class ships, there's water slides on Quantum class, Oasis class, Freedom, Voyager. All these ships have, many of them, not all of them, but many of them have water slides as well. Oasis class also has dry slides, where you can do a 6-story drop on a dry slide. And our new ship, Icon, has a 6-category water park on board, where there's 6 different water slides to be able to take advantage of. We have a new feature called the Crown's Edge, which is a zip line on the side of the ship, 165 feet above the ocean, which is just crazy. I haven't even seen that one yet. So I'm very excited about that. But, there's just the list goes on. And I always tell parents, if your children are bored on one of Royal Caribbean ship, they deserve to be in timeout because there's no reason to be bored on a Royal Caribbean ship.
Absolutely. And all this is included for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. I think that the only thing that I would say has a surcharge, the escape rooms
Mhm.
have a surcharge. And then we have on our Quantum class ships something called iFly, where you can go skydiving at
Mhm.
sea. And that also has a surcharge. They're very small venues and they, just for crowd control purposes. So there is a fee for those. But primarily everything else, your zip lining, your rock climbing, your miniature golf, your ice skating, your water slides, your flow riding, all of this is complimentary.
And the kids club, all complimentary.
And the kids club, yes,
It's
all
awesome.
complimentary.
It's totally worth it for a family trip. So how about for the parents? What kind of activities do you have? You guys have casinos on board?
Absolutely.
You
Yep.
have
So
game shows and stuff, all kinds of great stuff.
yeah, we have casinos, we have parades, we have game shows, we have I always, we have a ton of different bar options. So if you like beer, there's a pub. If you like wine, there's a wine bar. If you like champagne, there's a champagne bar. We have Boleros, which is our Latin lounge. We have karaoke. We have some of the other two casinos, like a comedy show. We have all kinds of entertainment. And that's another thing that's also complimentary at Royal. So most of our ships, or a lot of our ships, have Broadway shows. All of our, Oasis class, many of our Quantum class, Icon is going to have Wizard of Oz. So we have Grease and Mamma Mia and Hairspray, these amazing Broadway shows. So when you start thinking about how much it takes a family to go see a Broadway show, and this is included in the price of your cruise.
Yeah.
And on our Oasis class ships, we also have aqua theaters. So we have synchronized swim and high dive shows. So you start adding up going to a aqua theater show, a comedy show, a jazz show, a headliner show, a Broadway show, ice skating. We have 2 ice skating shows, all these activities and entertainment, and it's all complimentary. It really becomes a great value proposition, because if you had to go buy tickets for all these different activities and events, it would definitely be way more than your cruise.
Absolutely. And you get your food.
And you get your food.
You get your food.
Exactly.
And you guys have some great restaurants on board your ships. And not just a regular old fashioned dining room. You guys have some serious specialty dining restaurants. Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, we want to make sure that you have choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us stop every morning on our way to work to go get coffee, and some of us make it at home. So we all have a choice, right, in what we're doing. But we really want to make sure that we give those same choices to our customers on board. So we have a couple different dining options. That we have our main dining room, which is you can do first seating, second seating, or something we call my time dining, which is you could go ahead and pick what time you want to go to the restaurant. But it's in the same restaurant, same dining room, same food, same everything, just not the same table and waiter every night necessarily. Then we have the Windjammer, which is a complimentary breakfast, lunch, and dinner buffet area. And then we have a ton of complimentary options all over the ship. We've got room service. We've got all different types of things that you can take advantage of. But then we have specialty options. So depending upon the ship, maybe there's a Johnny Rockets. You can still get a burger for free in the Windjammer, or you could go pay for Johnny Rockets. But we have sushi. We have steak restaurants. Chops is our signature steakhouse. We have Italian restaurants. Different ones on different ships, Mexican restaurants, all different types of venues. So there really is something for everyone, but I don't want customers to feel that if you want a steak, the only way you're going to get a steak is if you go to the steak restaurant. You'll
Mm-hmm.
still be able to get a steak in the dining room. You'll still be able to get a steak in Windjammer, but you have that luxury experience to upgrade. And we offer wonderful dining packages that you can purchase in advance. And all of these things that you purchase in advance are on sale before you get on board the ship. So if you wait to purchase this stuff until you're on board, you're going to pay more than you would if you bought this stuff before you get on board your cruise.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's your favorite restaurant out of all the ships? What do you enjoy?
I like hibachi sushi, the
Okay.
hibachi restaurants, and I honestly think our sushi on board is just unbelievable. Um, and then one more thing that I think is on some of our ships, we have a at Jamie's, we Jamie's Italian. It's an Italian restaurant, but they have amazing lamb chops, which
Mm.
you would never think, and steak, just because it's a northern Italian restaurant. So those are some of my favorites. And then also on the Wonder of the Seas, we just came out with this new concept. And it is a Southern cuisine restaurant. And this has fried chicken and waffles and red velvet cake and shrimp and grits, and all of that is pretty exciting too.
That's awesome. That is so exciting. And it's one of those things that just gets that excitement level to want to go on a ship that's being innovative. And let's talk about innovation. What are you guys doing that's different than everyone else out there that's innovative in the industry?
Yeah, so two things with Icon that I think, well, first of all, before we go to Icon, I think Utopia coming out with a brand new ship the size of Oasis class in a 3 and 4 night is pretty innovative because no one's ever done it before, not even us. So we're very excited to see this happen, and it is selling like crazy. But Icon specifically, and like as you mentioned earlier, the Star of the Seas is the sister ship to the Icon, and she will be coming out in 2025. But what is exciting and different about this ship is we created a neighborhood exclusive for families, and it's called Surfside. And it is a neighborhood that every single thing in that area is really geared towards families. There's going to be 3 different types of pools, one for the babies, one for the younger kids with little slides, and then obviously the parents can also have their own pool area. All the venues, everything in that area is really going to be geared towards the family market. They're going to have their own cruise director that handles all their programming. And I think this is just a game changer. And what it also does is those customers that maybe aren't traveling with families, they're going to have other areas on the ship that the families aren't necessarily gravitating to. They're going to be gravitating to this Surfside neighborhood. So it's really going to kind of create other unique spaces around the ship as well. And then something else that I think that Royal did with Icon that's really just incredible is we have 7 different pools on board the Icon of the Sea, but they are located on 5 different decks all around the perimeter of the ship. So on a sea day, when everyone goes to the pool, everyone's going to be going to different decks, different locations of the ship. So it's really going to create a beautiful flow and space for you to always be able to feel like you can get a lounge chair and have a place to go, because not everyone's going to go to the same pools. Excuse me. And the second thing is, what we did is we pushed the pools out to the edge of the ship wherever we could. So now, when you sit in your lounge chair on most cruise ships, when you get in your lounge chair, you're facing the pool and the ocean's behind you.
Hmm.
And now, when you get on Icon, you're going to be in your lounge chair facing the pool and facing the ocean. So I think those two things are really innovative, just to help with flow and really create that experience that you're on a cruise ship.
Absolutely. And there's one thing that the Royal does that I think is so special and unique. And it goes back to what you were just saying, but the neighborhoods. So the different neighborhoods like Central Park, the Promenade, and you changed the way cruise ships look. It's not just about having a balcony that looks out over the water. You can have a balcony that looks out over Central Park, and there's a merry-go-round, and it's
I know.
like greenery, it's grass, there's trees. It's amazing, and it's a completely different experience than we're used to, and I love it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that where this whole evolution of where you see cruising today, where it started was with the Voyager class ships. So, to your point, prior to Voyager class ships, the entire industry was midnight buffet and shuffleboard. It was
Hmm.
not a lot of bells and whistles on the ships. And when we came out with the Voyager class ships, which is like Voyager, Navigator, Adventure, Explorer, those kinds of ships, it really was everything got added to ships. That's the first time you had ice skating, and you had miniature golf, and you had basketball and conference rooms and all these great things that you now have that has now evolved. And then we came out with Freedom Class, and that's just a bigger version of Voyager Class. And then we came out with Oasis Class. And Oasis Class is where we introduced this neighborhood concept, and there are 7 neighborhoods on the Oasis class ships, with the exception of Wonder and Utopia, that will have 8 neighborhoods because we introduced a suite class neighborhood. So there is an 8th neighborhood on board those ships. And then we evolved into quantum class ships, and now icon class. So we are constantly figuring out what other things can be added to ships, what people are looking for, and really just taking all the feedback that we get from our guests. And that's really how we get these great ideas of what to put on ships.
And they're really great ideas. And it seems like right now the move is bigger. Is that going to continue, or do you think we're going to see some smaller ships come out with some of the newer features on them?
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever intend to say, oh, we want to build the biggest ship in the world. That's just not how it's done. Our planning of ships, this stuff is done 10 years out. Like, we've been planning this for years and years and years and years. So this is not just something, it takes 4 or 5 years to build these ships, but then years prior to plan these ships. So this is a massive undertaking. It takes place over years and years. And the goal is never the biggest. It is just, we want these things on a ship. So this is kind of how it evolves too. But to your point, we are always constantly looking at smaller vessels, right? Because some of our older ships, like our Radiance class or our Vision class, the reason we still have those in our fleet, wonderful, they're beautiful ships, but these big ships can't get into the ports all around the world. They just
Right.
can't. There's certain bridges, not all ports can handle them. So we are constantly looking at how do we navigate getting some of the still working and not wanting to, still have those ports and those destinations that we go to. So yes, they are constantly looking at this stuff and figuring out how we can, move in that direction as well.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. There's some really cool ships coming out. Which is your favorite ship that's out right now?
That's out right now. I will tell you, it is the Oasis of the Seas. And the reason being is, even though the Wonder is newer, and I think she is, don't get me wrong, dynamic and amazing. But I think why I think the Oasis is so amazing is because Oasis was our first Oasis class ship. And that was hands down the game changer for our industry. Like, it just really was such an unbelievable ship. But when she came out, she didn't have water slides and all these things. So they amplified her. And when they did such an impeccable job that you walk on that ship and feel like she is a brand new ship. So I think that just knowing that she is not our newest Oasis class ship, and that she feels like one of our newest Oasis class ships, makes her one of my favorites.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How about your favorite itinerary? Where would you like to send somebody?
Well, I always tell people, so obviously I think if you've never cruised before, you should start, get on that 3 or 4, go into that 7-night Eastern. I think 2 bucket trips that I would say that you should do by cruise, in my opinion. There's a lot of destinations to travel around the world, and some of them you can do by land and cruise. Some of them maybe you just do by land, but I think there's some that you should really look at doing by cruise, especially if you're traveling with kids. First of all, Alaska is one of those destinations that I just think is a bucket trip for everybody to be able to enjoy. The ships have so much to offer. The destination is so serene and beautiful. So I think that's something I would definitely say that families and people should put on their bucket list. And that season goes from May through September. So it's a very short season. So you must book early for that type of destination. And then for those of you that have maybe never traveled to Europe, I think your Western Med itinerary is a fabulous first starter into going to Europe. You can either sail out of Rome or out of Barcelona, depending upon which home port you want to use. And it takes you to what I call the capitals, right? So if you were going out of Barcelona, You would fly into Barcelona, you would have a day in Rome, you would go to Florence for a day, you would go to the Amalfi Coast, you would go to Saint Tropez. So you really get these, great destinations. I took my daughter when she graduated high school to the Western Med itinerary, and she was quoting, all of these amazing movies that she had seen, Princess Diaries and Jumper. Here I am at the Coliseum, and she's, referencing a movie. So it was a really great way to kind of say, here, you've now been to Italy, you've been to Spain, you've been to France, and I just think it's a great destination.
I tell everyone cruising is like a sample pack. It's
Yep.
a great way to figure out where you want to go, invest more time to. And
Absolutely.
super
Absolutely.
affordable. Abby, thank
Absolutely.
you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Royal Caribbean Cruises, if you haven't been on one, you've got to get on one. Contact me, travelmationmichael.com. I would love to be able to put you together a package and send you wherever you want to go. Thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Abby, have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Michael. Have a great day.
Uh-huh.